All right, so let's talk about what happens when a story gets a little too real. Imagine you pour years of your life into creating something, a piece of art, only for it to be yanked away right at the finish line, just moments before the world gets to see it. That's not a hypothetical. It's exactly what happened with one web series. And its story, well, it reveals this fascinating, super tense battle between creative freedom and the powers that protect a nation.
Everything was ready to go. We're talking about a global premiere for a show called Lawrence of Punjab, all set to launch on the massive streaming platform ZEE5. It was queued up, ready to be beamed into millions of homes, and then just nothing. The digital curtain never went up. The story was pulled right back into the shadows.
You know, every big project starts with just a spark, right? An idea. For Lawrence of Punjab, that idea came from the really complex, often brutal criminal underworld of northern India. The creators were very clear about this. It was fiction. It was meant to be art that holds up a mirror to the relentless cycle of crime and violence that grips that region. I mean, just try to picture the sheer amount of work that goes into something like this. The endless hours spent in writers' rooms, those long, grueling days shooting on location, and then the sleepless weeks in dark editing suites. All of it just to weave this intricate, fictional world together for a global audience that was eagerly waiting.
But here's the thing about stories, even fictional ones, they never really exist in a vacuum. And while the creative team was deep in their work, totally unaware, their project popped up on a very different kind of screen. We're talking about intelligence briefings. And on that screen, the worry wasn't about plot twists or character development. It was about a potential link to a very real, very dangerous person, the incarcerated gangster Lawrence Bishnoi.
So, fueled by those intel reports, the Ministry of Information and Broadcasting saw a potential firestorm on the horizon. From their perspective, their fear wasn't just about a TV show. It was about the power of a story to, and this is their word, glamorize a real-world criminal. They worried it could spark unrest and shatter the incredibly fragile peace in a volatile region like Punjab.
Now make no mistake, this was not a negotiation. It was a decisive, preemptive strike. The government used its powerful IT rules, which is basically a legal framework that gives them the authority to shut down digital content if they think it's a threat to public order. And in this situation, they had already made their call.
So, this is where it all comes to a head. On one side, you have this global entertainment company about to launch its next massive hit. And on the other, you have a government absolutely determined to maintain order. On Friday, April 24, 2026, these two powerful worlds were set on a direct collision course.
And inside that sealed folder being delivered to ZEE5, a formal advisory. But it wasn't really a request. It was a directive. Stop the premiere. This was the moment that the digital standoff became very, very real. A government's duty to protect its people was crashing head-on with a corporation's mission to deliver entertainment.
So what do you do if you're ZEE5? Suddenly you're trapped between a rock and a hard place, right? The options were pretty grim. 1, they could just bow to the pressure and bury the whole project. 2, they could scramble to re-edit the entire series trying to cut out anything the government might find objectionable. Or 3, they could prepare for a huge fight and take the government to court.
This decision sent shockwaves everywhere. For the creative community, it was this chilling blow to their freedom of expression. But for law enforcement, it was seen as a necessary move, a stark reminder that there is a very thin, very fragile line between telling a powerful story and protecting public safety.
And the government's entire argument was really summed up perfectly by one official. They basically argued that when a portrayal on a screen risks turning a real-life convict into some kind of cult hero, the state has a fundamental duty to step in and stop that narrative before it can even take hold.
And so, that's where we are now. The story of Lawrence of Punjab has been silenced. All of that creative energy, the performances, the entire narrative, it's all just locked away, stored on a hard drive on a shelf somewhere, its potential completely unseen by the very audience it was made for.
And this is where the story leaves us, with this huge question just hanging over our entire digital world. A case like this isn't just a news headline. It's a landmark. It takes a what-if debate and makes it real. And it forces all of us to ask, where exactly do we draw the line between the stories we tell and the stability we need?